Everyone, the hashtag is Crowder Election Stream. Right now, we have some exclusive. This is exclusive. I don't think anybody else has this right now, correct?
Nobody has it.
Nobody has this right now because they've just been talking about Michigan, and we've been talking about Michigan all day because, especially Wayne County, they're expecting 100,000 votes in Wayne County, which they are saying is going to be heavily Biden. So we can pretty much put Michigan on the side of the ledger for Biden. And this would actually relate directly to that. What happened? Give us some context. What's been going on in Michigan?
Absolutely. So I got a call from some fellow Texas lawyers who are actually in Michigan.
Okay.
And there's a group of them, men and women, but it was 3 women specifically who were involved, who connected with me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah?
Just here in the last hour.
You women?
And they sent up, yes, they are women. They do. They have eyebrows. They both raise. Yeah.
Nice.
And so they reached out to say that they had some very serious concerns about what was happening last night. Now I know, even though I was asleep and you guys were awake, messaging about what exactly is going on with the count in the various states, but there's really no clarity, no ability to really see what's happening.
Right.
And what these ladies were able to do, one of the ladies is actually going to be Skyping in. So if you see that, make sure to bring her on. But they took some photos and videos from Cobo Hall. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right now, called TCF Center, the main convention center in downtown Detroit, where there's a lot of ballot counting, voting, and that type of thing happening. In most of these places, they have security. They have security to make sure that ballots aren't being brought in after a certain time they're checking. The front check here was only COVID and masks, and people were bringing in what should have been only 4 to 6 hour shifts, bringing in huge coolers, huge bags, suitcases, other types of things with no checks whatsoever, while coincidentally, at the very same time, we're seeing spikes in the voting count and all kinds of numbers going in one certain direction.
Yeah.
So I will emphasize, it's not like any of these ladies ran over there and pried open one of the igloos or looked in one of the coolers or looked in one of the suitcases, but rather the lack of institutional security surrounding one of the most controversial districts and counties and voting locations is apparently null. And these ladies have actually tried to raise those issues there with election officials since this morning and have not been able to get any answers.
Wow.
They are being completely ignored. And it raises a lot of questions about what is happening for the institutional security at these key voting spots.
Well, so at absolute worst, it is complete and it's negligence, I guess, really.
Well, it's
severe.
It's huge. It's certainly at the very least negligence. And what we're looking at here is an undermining of the trust that would have in that particular system. I mean, we've heard from folks on the left who are saying, oh, you know, how are we going to trust the system? How are we going to know what's happening? But even at the most basic security at main voting locations and vote counting, you're letting people come in and do things that really cast a question and a doubt about what's happening.
Legally, is that even allowed? Isn't there supposed to be a process to make sure that there are checks in security issues? You know, the security safeguards.
Absolutely, that's every single one of these locations is supposed to have kind of reasonable safeguards, and it depends on the location, the type of place. But if election workers are allowed, or people who are simply allowed into the space are not being checked, their IDs are not being checked, they're not vetted, the things that they have are not being vetted, then we're really raising a question in these particular jurisdictions. Particularly when you see at somehow 4:30, 5:30, 6 a.m. in the morning, a huge number of votes for one side, all of a sudden.
By the way, when they were supposed to
making
stop
it on
counting.
the ledger. Right.
We had to stop it because they said we're going to stop counting. We're like, oh, I guess they're going to, and they said we're going to start again tomorrow at 10, I think is what they said. And then all of a sudden,
in 1 hour,
an hour later, there's a huge spike specifically in this area. So you guys let me know when we have that person on Skype, but let's go to are we going to start with the videos or the pictures first?
I got videos here.
Okay, so let's go to the videos. This is in Detroit. These are the ballots. But all these ballots for Santa Claus. Oh, yeah, I know that spot.
So these are pretty raw.
Yeah, these are pretty raw. So how long are these videos that
This
you have?
one's 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
Kinda
Okay.
scoots
So let's,
through.
okay,
Oh,
right
we
here,
go,
right
we
here.
go.
Okay, all right, so let's look at this. So, okay. So right here, for people who are watching, again, we're just getting this. These are people bringing them in coolers. There's no one around.
That looks like a radio.
That does not look like a bustling ballot counting operation. That looks
in the
like
dark.
That looks like the kind of place where Hunter Biden would find his next fix.
And one of the things is there's, certainly a lot to be happening. Wayne County has a lot of votes, but it's the dead of night.
Yeah.
The polls have been closed for hours and hours. Where are these? Where are these?
And they were
people
supposed to
coming from?
stop counting. That's what they said on air.
Right. And what are they doing at this particular moment that they need these type of containers at this particular time?
Wow. Okay. Let's keep fast forward. What was that voice that I just heard?
There's a white van.
Oh, it's someone
Narrating.
Narrating.
And this little cart thing. See?
Wow.
Just getting something out of there.
There's just one guy. And he's not even wearing a tie.
So the person who's going to be logging in, her name is Kelly S., and she's a licensed attorney here in Texas, again, up in the Detroit area, who monitoring with some other groups that are part of the Attorneys for Trump organization. They're monitoring, making sure that things get done correctly.
wagon.
And you're going to see wagons and
That's
other
a wheel-wed wagon.
strange implements. So this is either a horror movie or something worse.
Wow. I mean, you wouldn't be able to trust that just because some ballots could fly off the back. That's a guy in a WrestleMania T-shirt with a KB Toys wagon.
Wow. So he's
I was
bringing
joking
these.
about the radio flyer.
No, but yeah, you're
That's
right.
actually
That's
a
a
radio
radio
flyer.
flyer.
He got the nice brand. on brand.
Yeah, the good thing, it's that's name brand.
Good for him.
Wow.
They spent the extra $20.
So
he's
think of the different points here where there's no security. There's no security. First off, we have no idea how these things got into the van. There's no one there right now escorting him from the van. There's no one meeting him as he brings it into there. Like you would think that there should be a human conveyor belt of people. It should look like American Gangster when they're all cutting the cocaine naked, so that you're sure they don't have anything in their pockets. And this guy's just walking in. There isn't any kind of official there for hundreds of yards.
Goodness.
He's just
We
bringing in
actually-
a wagon right there, and
we
we
actually have her on air, the person who
have the person who
filmed
recorded
it,
it, and we
yeah.
have more videos. So let's and her name.